أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا صدق الله العلي العظيم. بر محمد وآل محمد صلوات. ایک اور صلوات بھیجیے محمد وآل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم. کہا شبیر نے غازی او دیکھو جانب کوفہ میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے. کہا شبیر نے غازی وہ دیکھو جانب کوفہ میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے. کہا شبیر نے غازی وہ دیکھو جانب کوفہ میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے. نہ کوئی مونس و یاور نہ کوئی پاس ہے بیٹا میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے. کہا شبیر نے غازی وہ دیکھو جانب کوفہ میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے. میرے بھائی کو چاروں سمت سے فوجوں نے گھیرا ہے. میرے بھائی کو چاروں سمت سے فوجوں نے گھیرا ہے. ہزاروں مارنے والے ہے اور مسلم اکیلا ہے کوفی چار جانب نہیں ہے کوئی بھی اپنا میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے. کہا شبیر نے غازی وہ دیکھو جانب کوفہ میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے. بڑی دشوار منزل ہے کبھی ایسا نہ وقت آئے وطن سے دور غربت میں کوئی ایسا نہ دکھ پائے. رقیہ ہونے والی ہے ابھی کچھ دیر میں بیوہ میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے. کہا شبیر نے غازی وہ دیکھو جانب کوفہ میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے. جو تیرے دل پہ گزری ہے اسے بتلا نہیں سکتا. تمہاری بیٹیوں کے ساتھ کوفہ جا نہیں سکتا. بچا لے میرے بھائی کو نجف نزدیک ہے بابا میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے. کہا شبیر نے غازی وہ دیکھو جان جانب کوفہ میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے، کٹے ہونٹوں کا اس کے خون جب پانی میں گرتا ہے، گرا کر جام پانی کو بڑی حسرت سے تکتا ہے، نہ جانے کتنا زخمی ہے، ارے نہ جانے کتنا زخمی ہے، نہ جانے کب سے ہے پیاسا، میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے۔ کہا شبیر نے غازی وہ دیکھو جانب کوفہ میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے، نظر آتے نہیں عباس کو مسلم کے شہزادے، محمد اور ابراہیم اس کے ساتھ نکلے تھے، کہاں پر کھو گئے دونوں، نہ جانے کیا ہوا ایسا، میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے۔ کہا شبیر نے غازی وہ دیکھو جانب کوفہ میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے۔ کہا شبیر نے غازی وہ دیکھو جانب کوفہ میرا مسلم اکیلا ہے۔ اور محمد و آل محمد صلوات الفاتحہ۔
اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان اللعین الرجیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم الحمد للہ وکفى وسلام على عباده الذین اصطفى محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد واللعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم أجمعين أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما أموالكم وأولادكم فتنة والله عنده أجر عظيم آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد. My dear elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let us remember all our marhumin and gift them with one surah Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. My elders, brothers and sisters, 22nd of Dhul Hijjah is the day when we commemorate the passing away or the martyrdom of the two sons of Hazrat Muslim bin Aqil. And on this occasion, number one is that this is the last Shahadat Majlis for the year, meaning that coming next year, that is Muharram, when we will have the commemoration of the martyrdom of the Shahadat of Karbala. So in the Islamic calendar, this is the last Shahadat Majlis. Of course, we know 24th we have another event, and that is event of Mubahila, which is also a very auspicious and very important event in the Islamic calendar. Normally, the second thing is that on such occasions we would discuss mostly about as to children being the blessings from Allah Azza wa Jal. Those of you who have children, MashaAllah, and there are many grandfathers sitting here, so you also have grandchildren, MashaAllah, and this is a blessing that for which we should always be grateful and thankful to Allah Azza wa Jal. For this blessing enables the generation and the continuity of the family. And when you have children and when you have a family, the joy and the sorrows are all observed together. So, children are blessings from Allah Azza wa Jal. And every couple, newly married, would wish that Allah Azza wa Jal would bless them with child or children. And when Allah blesses them, whether it is a boy or a girl, those children now become a great responsibility upon the parents. We have heard a lot, and inshallah we will continue to hear about the responsibilities of the parents upon the children. You have heard about that when a child is born, then it is the right of the child that he should be given a good name. It is the right of the child that he should be taught how to read the Quran. Remember, these are rights, and there are many rights of the children. I want to look at this relationship between the parents and the children in the light of the Holy Quran, as to how Quran has described the children and what are the responsibilities of the parents. And I am, inshallah, going to try and expound and explain 3 verses from the Holy Quran which is directly related to the responsibilities, the relationship between the parents and the children. So to begin with, the first one that I recited at the beginning of the majlis is from Surah At-Taghabun, the 64th surah in the Holy Quran. And in verse number 15, Allah Azza wa Jal tells us something. What I said at the beginning is that we consider children to be blessings from Allah Azza wa Jal. And we know about the blessings that Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in the Quran, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you are grateful for the blessings that I have given you, I am going to increase that. I am going to increase that. So, in this verse, Allah Azza wa Jal says, إِنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةٌ. The main word to understand over here is fitna. Now, it is not the Gujarati fitna or the Urdu fitna. All right? Fitna in Gujarati we talk about when you create a quarrel or create a problem between two people, and you mostly hear a fitna khorche. Right? This person is the one who creates problems for the people. Right? But fitna in Arabic is translated as trial. It is translated as test. Now, when we talk about fitna, right, we will find that in this trial, in this test that Allah Azza wa Jal takes from us, it will have pains, it will have pains, it will have afflictions, hardships, and of course there are other difficulties that may come together. Okay? So first thing Allah tells us is that your children, awladukum fitna, are a trial. Okay? Now, this trial comes about in bringing up the children. Mostly we hear, a chokro sambarto nathi. This boy or this girl does not listen to me. We try to explain, do this thing, stay away from this thing, refrain from this company, and the children are less bothered about what the parents are saying. The children may not feel what is going through the hearts of the parents. It is the parents who feel that pain. It is the parents who feel that hardship. Okay? But when this hardship comes, what should be our approach? What should be our, reaction when such hardship comes about? In saying number 93 of Nahjul Balagha, Imam Ali bin Abi Talib salawatullah wa salamuhu alayh has guided us. Imam has guided us, and let's take this guidance. Of course, there are those elderly people sitting over here. They have gone through their life. They have brought up their children. And there are others who are bringing up their children. Okay? Look at the advice of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, لا يقولن أحدكم اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الفتنة. Imam Ali alayhi salam is saying, none of you should say say, "O Allah, I seek your protection from trouble. I seek your, a'udhu bika, I seek your protection from fitna." Imam says none should say like that. Okay? Then Imam says, the reason why one should not say, Imam says, لِأَنَّهُ لَيْسَ أَحَدٌ إِلَّا وَهُوَ مُشْتَمِلٌ عَلَى فِتْنَةٍ, because there is no one who is not involved in fitna, who is not involved in trial. Sometimes when a person goes through that period of sickness, long sickness, this is trial from Allah Azza wa Jal. There are times when person goes through period of difficulty in his wealth, difficulty in his sustenance. This is trial from Allah Azza wa Jal. So Imam says, don't say, "Allah, I seek refuge in you from trials." No. Because Imam says every one of us is involved in one or another kind of trial. And then Imam says what you should say is, وَلَكِنْ مَنِ اسْتَعَاذَ فَلْيَسْتَعِذْ مِنْ مُضِلَّاتِ الْفِتَنِ. Imam says, but what you should do is, you have to seek refuge in what? Imam says, if you intend to seek refuge in Almighty Allah, then you have to seek the refuge from the errors that you will make whilst undergoing that trial. God protects. And we pray that none of us have to see and go through this trial. And that is when a young son or daughter passes away. We can go to the bereaved family, to the father, to the mother who have lost their children, and we can say, "Sabr karo, be patient." Okay? But what is going through their hearts, we will not be able to comprehend. At this time, it is possible that there are people who speak such words that are against the will and the decree of Allah Azza wa Jal. This is an error a person makes whilst undergoing through a trial. Or if a person is going through difficult time in his sustenance and not having enough, he might say, "Khudaya tane bijo koi na melo pan hu mane garib banavi nakhyo." If you found me only to be the one to be a poor person, no one else. This is error. So Imam says that if you want to seek refuge in Allah Azza wa Jal from the errors that you can make whilst undergoing through the trial. And then Imam quotes and he says that فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ سُبْحَانَهُ يَقُولُ وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةٌ. Imam says that Almighty Allah Azza wa Jal says, beware that possessions and children are trials, are fitna. In other words, Allah is already telling us that you will undergo through these trials. If you want to seek refuge in Allah, seek refuge in Allah from the errors of these trials. But when these trials come in front of you, you should be ready to face them. Upbringing of the children is one of the trials that we are facing. So how to bring them up? There are challenges. And There are parents here who have young children who know about it, and they do say that to bring up the children in these days and times is challenging. These challenges are trials for us. Now we have to meet these trials. We have to overcome. Of course, in upbringing of the children, of course, this is not part of my discussion just now, but in upbringing of the children, that root and that seed should be laid at the time when the child is still infant and it is, or the child is growing. Put the seed of what we say righteousness, seed of goodness into the hearts of the children from the very young age. So when they grow up, slowly, they will realize. We have plenty of examples of those children who during their young age, when they were growing up, 20s, between 20s and 30s, they lost the path. They went away from the right path, busy involving themselves in this world and in the luxuries and the comforts of this world. And then suddenly that realization comes that I am already on the wrong path and I need to return. One of the reasons of their return is that that seed of goodness was planted when they were infant and they were growing. So this is the first verse. In the light of Quran, Allah tells us, إِنَّمَا أَمْوَالُكُمْ وَأَوْلَادُكُمْ فِتْنَةٌ. Surely your wealth and your children are trials. Recite salawat, please. The second verse that I want to talk about is a very, very great, a very, very big responsibility that Allah Azza wa Jal has put us. From the verse of the Holy Quran, that what we say, responsibility is not anything which is, we can say, can be done here by just pressing a button and to say, kun fayakun, it is going to happen. No. There was one alim, and that alim, was approached by a person, and that person said to him that this is the problem I'm having with my son. He is not reciting namaz, and he is not fasting, and not reciting Quran, and all the complaints. Whom to go to? Go to alim, talk to him. Right. And they will say, kain taviz lakhiya po. Write down something for us so that we can give it to the child, and inshallah we'll be on the right path. Okay. So when he's talked about writing, something, when that man said, do something, give me ta'weed or something like that, Maulana replied him properly. And he said, look, this is not something where you switch on the button and the light goes on, and switch off and the light goes off. This matter is not that simple, that I give you ta'weed and this fellow will go on the right path straight away. That's not possible. Here what is required is an exercise, a process by which you bring him towards doing all these good deeds. Don't expect everything to go straight. Okay? Now look at this responsibility in the light of Quran. Surah At-Tahrim, verse number 6. Surah number 66, verse number 6. It's a verse that you are all familiar with, where Allah Azza wa Jal says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, qu أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا. O you who have believed, O you who have faith, Ku anfusakum. Ku here has been translated in English as to save or to protect. So what Allah is ordering us is that protecting from the Jahannam, from the fire, is our own responsibility. We have to understand this point. People may have this idea that this protection from the fire, we may get it through the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. And through A'imma Tahirin alayhimus salam, in trying to misinterpret the word shafa'ah. Right? Shafa'at, like our sixth Imam has mentioned, that there is no doubt that we will do shafa'at for our Shi'as on the day of judgment. This hadith, you have heard about it, that we will do shafa'at for our Shi'as on the day of judgment. But for one who is tariqus salah, we will not do shafa'at for him. One who abandons the prayer, we are not going to do shafa'at. We will not intercede on their behalf. So protection from the fire, Allah is telling us, those who have brought faith, is upon yourself. Qu anfusakum. Save yourself. Wa ahlikum nara. And at the same time, you also protect your family. So how do I protect my family from the fire of hell? Again, the matter of correct upbringing comes. But here, I am going to mention a hadith which is accepted by both the Ahlus Sunnah and as well as the Shi'as, because this hadith is from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. What does Prophet say? And each word or each of the sentences of this hadith are that which requires reflection to think about. The first thing the Prophet said was, Kullukum ra'in. Every one of you is a shepherd. Kullukum ra'in. Each one of you, each one of us sitting over here is a shepherd. And then after that, Prophet said, وَكُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. And each one of you is responsible to look after your flock. You are a shepherd, and each one of you is responsible to look after your flock. So first part, the Prophet says, and then Prophet gives the categories of the different positions. We will leave it out all. We are related or talking about relationship between the parents and the children. And what does Prophet say? وَالرَّجُلُ رَاعٍ فِي أَهْلِهِ وَمَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَئِيَّتِهِ. And a man or the man is responsible or is a shepherd for his family. And therefore he is responsible to look after that family. So those, I'm talking to the young people now who are married, and you know that once you bring your wife to your home, now you are married, okay? Those were the days I'm talking about, right? when the husband would say to the wife, you are going to be at home, I will go out to work. And the responsibility of husband was to bring the the earning, the lawful earnings to home in order to provide shelter, provide clothes, provide food for his wife. And when the children came, that responsibility also increased. Okay? Nowadays, I don't know. Okay? So please, koi topi na pere matha upar. Okay? Right? But this is something I'm telling you. Someone shared with me. Of course, the marriage did not take place, but the girl was approached and she agreed, and yes, we want to get married. Right? We are not talking about Peterborough, don't worry at all, okay? But do Peterborough ni bare. Everything outside Peterborough. And that girl called me to tell me that that fellow is telling me, once we get married, I will work, you will give half, I will give half, and that's how we are going to. Right, and the girl told him, Tu taro rasto jma pile. Right, find your way. Let's understand this. Islam has provided the guidance. The man is responsible, the Prophet says, for his family, and he has to look after his family. Okay. Now look here. There is another responsibility where the Prophet says, وَالْمَرْأَةُ رَاعِيَةٌ فِي بَيْتِ زَوْجِهَا وَمَسْئُولَةٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهَا. And the woman is, or the wife is, responsible, is a shepherd in her husband's house, and she has to look after her flock. So the husband has responsibility, the wife has responsibility, and when they bring about these responsibilities together, when they fulfill these responsibilities together, they bring about in order to look after the flock, and look after the flock in such a way that they bring up the family which is based on the teachings of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad salawatullah wa salamuhu alayhim ajma'in. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So I now come to the third verse, and in this third verse is where, if we understand this responsibility, we will also understand one important principle in our life. One important principle, and that principle is, my dear elders, brothers and sisters, our connection with Allah Azza wa Jal at all times, at all times. It is not that connection that only comes about when a person is in need of help, and then he raises his hand and yes, sincerely and truly pleads to Allah Azza wa Jal in order for his difficulty, his problem to move away, or whatever he requires from Allah Azza wa Jal, he asks from him. It's not only in those occasions. Let me share with you over here something, inshallah, which you will find it useful, please. And please do reflect upon what I am saying. Then I will come to the third point. It is connected. What is our attitude after we finish the salat? Right? What we say, the recommendation is that a person after completing the salat should talk with Allah Azza wa Jal. There are many ways of talking with Allah Azza wa Jal. One which is counted as dhikrun kathir, means plenty of dhikr, is tasbih of Bibi Fatima Zahra alayha salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. this 34 times Allahu Akbar and 33 times of praise and 33 times of glory to Allah, this is counted as dhikrun kathir. So I have said before, and I will also say this again, do it properly. Do not go very fast to say that I want to finish the tasbih. No, do it properly. This is dhikrun kathir. And after that, it could be any. People have different approach. Some people will recite maybe Ayatul Kursi. Some people will recite a small dua. Someone might recite a few of the verses from the Holy Quran. Or someone may do one dhikr continuously, a tasbih. All this dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jal, this is the point I want to now share with you, is a very powerful weapon to build up your connection with Allah Azza wa Jal. Believe in me. Very powerful weapon. Do not immediately after Salat stand up and walk away. Talk to Allah Azza wa Jal. Because in every aspect of our life, we need His assistance. We need His help. And this is where we pray to Allah. Suratul Ahqaf, verse number 16, where Allah Azza wa Jal, or verse number 15, where Allah Azza wa Jal talks about a person who is praying to Allah and he says, Rabbi awzi'ni an ashkura ni'mataka allati an'amta alay wa ala waliday wa an a'mala salihan tardah wa aslih li fi dhurriyyati. Now when you look at the meaning, it is clear that a person is asking for help. What help? He says, my Lord, inspire me to give thanks for your blessings, for which you have blessed me and my parents. If you make the list of the blessings that Allah has given you, one that will also come amongst the top is the blessing of children. So Allah give me that, inspire me, that at every moment I am there to thank you for the children that you have given me. And also for all the other blessings that you have given me. But not only upon me, inspire me to thank you for the blessings that you have given to my parents. And the parents got that blessing of you as a child of your parent. Thank Allah Azza wa Jal that you got such beautiful parents. You got those parents who were caring. You got those parents who were looking after you. You got such parents that who have always looked after your own good, your own good. Whether it is by means of encouragement or whether it is means of scolding you or trying to tell you something when you do something wrong. This is a great blessing from Allah Azza wa Jal. Then the third thing that you are asking from Allah Azza wa Jal is, and inspire me that I may do righteous deeds, those deeds which may please you. Now Allah has given you blessings, blessing in form of children. Now you want to do righteous deed. And one of the righteous deed and amal for whose reward you will also get after your passing away is وَالْوَلَدُ يَدْعُو لِوَالِدِهِ, or there is the boy, the person who prays for his parents. The righteous deed in upbringing that children. But it's not only the one righteous deed. You are asking for blessings or inspiration from Allah to do as many righteous deeds as possible. Of course, those deeds which is going to please Allah Azza wa Jal. And the fourth thing you are asking is, Ya Allah, invest my descendants with righteousness. Give me that help. I'm asking from you. And help me, assist me, so that I will keep my family in righteousness. I will keep my family in such a way that I will protect them from Jahannam. How beautiful Imam Ali Zainul Abidin, salawatullah wa salamuhu alayhi. Dua number 25, which I mentioned in the Jum'ah khutbah, and I mentioned there, go through dua number 25. Those of you who are not present on that Friday, I recommend to you, when you go home, read the meaning of dua number 25 in Sahifa as-Sajjadiyah. It is a beautiful dua. All the duas of Imam are beautiful. All of them are those that will inspire you to be nearer to Allah Azza wa Jal. What does Imam ask in that dua? Imam says, وَأَعِنِّي عَلَى تَرْبِيَتِهِمْ وَتَأْدِيبِهِمْ وَبِرِّهِمْ. O Allah, help me in their upbringing, in their education, and in my devotion towards them. Help me. Make it easy for me so that I am able to bring them up. I am able to educate them. I am able to be devoted to them and to look after them. And then, what does he pray for? He prays for his children to Allah Azza wa Jal. وَاجْعَلْهُمْ لِي مُحِبِّينَ مُطِيعِينَ غَيْرَ عَاصِينَ وَلَا عَاقِينَ وَلَا مُخَالِفِينَ وَلَا خَاطِئِينَ. O Allah, and make them loving towards me. Make them loving towards me. And make them affectionate towards me. Approaching, upright, obedient. And then Imam says, غَيْرَ عَاصِينَ, never disobedient, never disrespectful, never opposed, or never for them to be offenders. Aren't all these qualities we want in our children? That they are loving, they are those who are obedient, they are those who are upright. They should not be one who are disobedient, those who have gone away from the right path. We seek Allah Azza wa Jal's help. When we seek His help, He is going to help us. He is not going to organize a seminar for us. Attend that seminar and you will learn. No. He will find us, He will show us the ways by which Ma'sumin alayhimus salam have shown us, the ways of how to bring up the children. It's a great responsibility. Of course, I said at the beginning, and let me try and now bring an end, and the main points of what I have said is, number one is, yes, the children are blessings from Allah Azza wa Jal, but Allah Azza wa Jal also tells us that your children are a trial. Innama amwalukum wa awladukum fitna. Number one, trials. And in trials you get pains, you get difficulties. In upbringing your children, there are great trials to be faced. Number one. Number two is, as parents, we have a responsibility to protect ourselves and at the same time to protect our family from the fire of hell. Read that whole verse. 66, 6. Should be very easy to remember. 666. Read that whole verse where Allah describes what kind of fire that is. So we want to seek protection from that. And we want to seek protection, we have to build up. So we ourselves have to protect. At the same time, if we protect ourselves, it will be easy to protect our family. And number 3 is, in this from the Holy Quran that I've explained, of course there are many other verses related to relationship between the father and between the parents and the children. The third one is there, ask Allah's assistance. Ask for His help in order to bring up the children. Even if your children have grown up, are married, pray for them. Read that dua number 25 and ask Allah Azza wa Jal. Pray for them. And may Allah Azza wa Jal guide and keep us on the right path of Muhammad and Ali Muhammad. Salawatullah wa salamuhu alayhim ajma'een. Azadaru. جیسے میں نے مجلس کی شروعات میں بیان کیا تھا کہ 22ویں ذی الحج وہ دن ہے کہ جب ہم اور جہاں بھی شیعہ ہو وہ جناب مسلم کے 2 فرزند ابراہیم اور محمد کی شہادت کو یاد کرتے ہیں. عزادارو، جب میں سوچتا ہوں تو یہ پتہ چلتا ہے کہ امام حسین علیہ السلام نے جو قدم اٹھایا اور اسلام کو بچانے کے لیے قربانیاں دی، اس میں بہت سے لوگ تھے جو امام حسین علیہ السلام کا مقصد سمجھ گئے تھے، اور ان میں سے وہ بچے بھی تھے جو امام کا مقصد سمجھ سکتے تھے. جب میں مصائب کے واقعہ پڑھوں گا آپ خود سمجھ جاؤ گے کہ یہ فرزندان مسلم انہوں نے امام حسین علیہ السلام کا مقصد سمجھا تھا. وہ جانتے تھے. تاریخ میں ملتا ہے، جیسے اعمالی شیخ صدوق میں یہ ملتا ہے کہ یہ دونوں بچے زندان میں نہیں تھے، اور دوسری جگہ تاریخ میں ملتا ہے کہ جناب مسلم کی شہادت کے بعد ان دونوں فرزندوں کو قید کیا گیا تھا اور یہ بچے قید خانے میں تھے. جب ایک دن دربان قید خانے کا دربان کو پتہ چلا کہ یہ مسلم بن عقیل کے 2 فرزند ہیں، عزادارو اس وقت اس نے دروازہ کھول دیا اور ان کو چھوڑ دیا. ہاں عزادارو، اعمالی شیخ صدوق علیہ الرحمہ میں یہ ملتا ہے کہ جب لوگ جناب مسلم کو چھوڑنے لگے، وہ عشاء کی نماز ایک ایک کر کے وہ چھوڑنے لگے. جو ہزاروں کی تعداد میں لوگ جناب مسلم کے پیچھے نماز پڑھ رہی تھی، اور ایک وقت وہ آیا تھا کہ جناب مسلم بن عقیل اکیلے رہ گئے تھے. اعمالی شیخ صدوق علیہ الرحمہ میں یہ ملتا ہے کہ یہ دونوں فرزند وہاں سے نکل گئے. رات کا وقت تھا اور کوئی جگہ نہیں تھی، کوئی پتہ نہیں تھا کہ جا کے وہ بیٹھے، جا کے وہاں آرام کرے. نکل پڑے اور کوفے سے دور نکل گئے. بس عزادارو، وہ سفر کا تھکن اور ان دونوں فرزند نے وہ ایک جھاڑ پہ جا کے وہ بیٹھ گئے. اور جب ایک مومنہ آئی صبح کے وقت تو کیا دیکھا کہ پانی میں دو چہرے دکھائی دیتے ہیں. جب اس نے دیکھا اوپر تو کیا ملا, کیا دیکھا, دو بچے ہیں جن کے چمکتے چہرے تھے. ایک مرتبہ پوچھا آپ کون ہو عزادارو؟ جب بچوں نے کہا کہ ہم فرزندان مسلم ہیں, ہم مسلم بن عقیل کے بیٹے ہیں. ایک مرتبہ اس مومنہ نے کہا اتر آؤ, نیچے آؤ. جب وہ دونوں نیچے آئے ہیں مومنہ نے کہا گھبراؤ نہیں, میں تمہارے نانا امام علی کی ماننے والی ہوں, آ جاؤ میرے پاس. عزاداروں دونوں کو لے گئے اور ایک حجرے میں رکھا کہ جہاں وہ بچے آرام کرے. اس مومنہ کا جو شوہر تھا اس کا نام حارث تھا, وہ جاسوس تھا عبید اللہ ابن زیاد کا. وہ ملعون جب آتا ہے گھر میں اور یہ بچے رات کے وقت روتے ہیں. کیوں روتے تھے؟ دونوں سو گئے تھے. دونوں کو خواب میں مولا کائنات آئے اور کہا گھبرانا نہیں, ان قریب اب تم میرے پاس آؤ گے. بس عزاداروں یہ ملعون گیا اور ان دونوں بچوں کو اٹھایا, زبردستی سے اٹھایا عزاداروں. اور جب واقعہ یہاں پہنچتا ہے کہ صبح کے وقت جب اس نے اپنے غلام کو کہا کہ ان دونوں فرزندوں کو, ان دونوں بچوں کو قتل کر دے, اس غلام نے منع کیا. جب اپنے فرزند کو کہا کہ تم بھی اس کو قتل کر دو, ان دونوں نے اس نے بھی منع کر دیا. بس عزاداروں حارث نے کہا اب تو میں قتل کرنے والا ہوں. بس عزاداروں مقصد سمجھ لو, یہ بچے سمجھتے تھے, عمر 11 اور 9 سال کی عمر تھی. ایک مرتبہ حارث کو کہا ہاں اب تو نے ارادہ کر لیا ہے قتل کرنے کا, تو ہمارے پاس ایک ہی خواہش ہے, 2 رکعت نماز ہم پڑھ لے. عزاداروں اجازت ملی, نماز پڑھ لی. دونوں ہاتھ اونچے آسمان کی طرف خدا کے پاس دعا کی, اے پروردگار تیرے ہاتھ میں ہے اور تو اس کا فیصلہ کرنا. بس عزاداروں تاریخ میں ملتا ہے جیسے عمالیہ شیخ صدوق علیہ الرحمہ میں ملتا ہے کہ ایک مرتبہ اس حارث نے دونوں بچوں کے سر ایک ساتھ قلم کر دیے اور دونوں بچوں کی لاشوں کو فرات کی ندی پہ پھینک دیا. ہاں میں کہوں گا اے بچوں تمہاری شہادت ایسے ہوئی, ہائے نہ ماں تھی نہ باپ تھے, تم دونوں اکیلے تھے, تم غریب تھے, تمہارا مولا بھی غریب تھا. ہاں عزاداروں آج پرسہ دینا ہے تو اس بچے دونوں فرزند کی ماں رقیہ کو ہم پرسہ دیوے. یہ وہ ماں ہے جنہوں نے کربلا میں اپنے 2 فرزند کو شہید ہوتے دیکھا اور یہ دونوں فرزند امام حسین علیہ السلام کی راہ میں اپنی جان نثار کر. وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. ماتم حسین.
جب دونوں دریا پر محمد اور ابراہیم موئے جب دونوں دریا پر محمد اور ابراہیم یہی کہتے تھے رو رو کر محمد اور ابراہیم موئے جب دونوں دریا پر محمد اور ابراہیم موئے جب دونوں دریا پر محمد اور صبا کہیو یہ امو سے کہ ہم تیرے ہوئے فدیے صبا کہیو یہ امو سے کہ ہم تیرے ہوئے فدیے کٹاتے دونوں ہے ہم سر محمد اور ابراہیم موئے جب دونوں دریا پر محمد اور ابراہیم موئے جب دونوں دریا پر ہماری لو خبر جلدی کہ ہیں ہم خلد کو راہی ہماری لو خبر جلدی کہ ہیں ہم خلد کو راہی کھڑے ہیں دونوں ہیں مضطر محمد اور ابراہیم موئے جب دونوں دریا پر محمد اور ابراہیم موئے جب دونوں دریا پر ہمارے باپ کو مارا کیا ہے ہم کو آوارہ ہمارے باپ کو مارا کیا ہے ہم کو آوارہ پھرے ہم بھٹ کے جو ہر در محمد اور ابراہیم موئے جب دونوں دریا پر محمد اور موئے جب دریا پر محمد اور ابراہیم ہماری لو خبر جلدی محمد اور ابراہیم موئے جب دونوں دریا پر محمد اور ابراہیم موئے جب دونوں دریا پر محمد اور ابراہیم فاتحہ
Rouhani Majlis announcements. Mu'mineen, today Hadiya Majlis is by Mehfil Abbas alayhi salam for Hazrat Muhammad and Hazrat Ibrahim ibn Muslim ibn Aqil, and today's Majlis has also been sponsored by the family of Marum Jafar Ali Bhai Danji for the Isal Sawab of Marum Jafar Ali Bhai Muhammad Husain Ali Bhai Danji, Marumins of Danji family, Marumins of Ladda family, and Kul Marumins, all are humbly requested to recite Surah Fatiha for all the Marumins. Al-Fatiha. Bismillah. Muslim.
السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا نبي الله. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا سلطان أبا الحسن علي بن موسى الرضا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا حجة ابن الحسن. السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان. الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته. واتك عليه في الساعة وفي كل ساعة ليا حافظا وقائدا وناصرا ليا وعينا لا تسكنه وارزقا ترها تمتعه.
إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. اللهم صل على. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين علي ولي الله. اللهم صل على محمد. أشهد أن أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. اللهم صل على محمد. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل. حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم اجعل قلبي بارا وعملي سارا وعيشي قارا ورزقي دارا والعدي أبرارا واجعل لقبر نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم مستقر وقرارا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل